The galaxy was very old. It had seen thousands of species rise and fall. Empires were born. Empires burned. And through all of it, the galaxy believed it understood everything. Humanity was not impressive. That was the common belief. Humans were loud, emotional, and divided. They fought each other more than any enemy. Their technology was good, but not great. Their ships were small compared to the giants of the stars. When the Great Council spoke of power, humanity's name was never mentioned. Humans were background noise. So when the Deep Space Listening Station Echo 9 detected something strange, no one wanted to believe it. The station floated in the dark between stars. It was old, quiet, and forgotten. Most days, it heard nothing but cosmic dust and dead signals from ancient wars. Then one signal changed everything. At first, it looked like an error. A young analyst stared at the screen in silence. The numbers made no sense. The mass reading was too large. The movement was too smooth. She checked again. Not a star. Not a planet. Not a moon. It was moving. Slowly. Calmly. With purpose. She called her supervisor. He frowned and ran his own scan. Then he stopped breathing for a moment. The object was planet-sized, and it was not natural. For several minutes, no one spoke. In the cold room of Echo 9, only the soft hum of machines could be heard. The galaxy outside continued its endless motion, unaware that something impossible had just been found. The supervisor whispered, "Do not report this yet." They needed confirmation. More scans were sent. Long-range sensors focused deeper. Energy readings came back next. The numbers climbed higher, higher, then higher again. The object was not just large. It was powered. Whatever it was, it had enough energy to light entire systems. Enough to scare empires. Still, there was no alarm. Because fear spread faster than truth. Hours passed. The data became clearer. The shape was no longer a blur. It had structure, layers, massive surfaces shaped with intention. It was a ship the size of a world. Someone finally asked a question no one wanted to hear. Who built it? The answer came from the signal. Buried under the cosmic noise was a pattern. Old, familiar, simple. It was human. Human math, human rhythm, human code. The room went completely silent. Humanity did not build ships like this. At least, that was what the galaxy believed. The report reached the Galactic Observation Council. At first, it was laughed at. Senior members waved it away as a sense of failure or human exaggeration. Humans were known for stories, for drama, for fear. But the silence from humanity was strange. There was no celebration, no announcement, no warning. Human space went quiet. No ships moved. No fleets gathered. No messages were sent. That silence worried the older species, because the silence meant preparation. Ancient observers checked their records. Deep archives were opened. Forgotten data was pulled from crystal memory vaults older than most civilizations. There were whispers in those records. Stories of world ships. Not weapons. Not cities. Survival. Species that feared extinction did not build armies. They built escape. They built homes that could move. They built planets that could fight back. Most species never finished such projects. They were too costly, too slow, too patient. Humans were patient. The object in deep space changed its course slightly. Not toward any empire. Not toward any world. It moved toward open space, as if it was waking up. Energy readings spiked for a brief moment, then stabilized. No weapons powered on. No shields flared. It was not attacking. It was arriving. Across the galaxy, sensors began to notice something else. Tiny signals. Weak, but many. More shapes. Far away. Hidden. Sleeping. The galaxy had spent centuries watching humanity fight itself. It had never watched what humans built when they were afraid of the future. On Earth, deep beneath layers of stone and steel, a small group watched the same data. Old men and women. Their faces showed no surprise. Only confirmation. One of them spoke softly. It has begun. They had planned this long ago. when humanity was still young among the stars, when extinction felt close, when the universe felt hostile and cold. They did not build planet-sized ships to conquer. They built them so humanity would never disappear. The galaxy finally understood one terrible truth. Humanity was never weak. They were quiet, and the silence before discovery was not empty. It was full of waiting. The galaxy did not notice at first. Stars burned as usual. Planets spun silently. And alien empires continued their routines, confident in their power. Humans were weak. That was certain. In the Grand Council of Zorth, representatives from dozens of empires laughed at the reports. Humans, one elder hissed, flipping through the data holopad. They are nothing. Tiny, divided creatures. They still fight over scraps on one planet. Do you think they could move a moon, let alone build a world ship? Others nodded, smiling. Perhaps a small fleet, another said. But the galaxy will erase them long before that. Meanwhile, distant observation stations picked up signals from the massive object. The patterns were strange, deliberate, and human. It did not matter. The empires had never feared humans. They had studied their wars, their politics, their slow technology. Every weakness had been noted, every failure remembered. Primitive thinkers, a Zordi diplomat muttered. Yet, quietly, the galaxy began to feel something different. Sensors detected more energy signatures. Tiny bursts at first, then stronger signals, repeating from the massive object. It was not alone, but the councils ignored the warnings. They are just experiments, said one. Humans play with old technology. The object cannot be dangerous. In reality, the humans had learned patience. They had watched the galaxy. They had watched species rise and fall. They had learned not to rush. The world ship drifted silently. No weapons, no shields, no messages, only presence. And in that silence, smaller species felt something they could not name. Fear. Something about the humans felt different. Quiet, calm, prepared. In the archives of ancient empires, dusty records were found. Forgotten stories of world ships, planet-sized constructs that could survive extinction events. Most species never built them. They lacked the vision, the discipline, the stubborn patience. Humans had done it, and the galaxy, for the first time in millennia, began to question its judgment. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the observation team monitored the alien reactions. They did not speak publicly. They did not alert fleets. They simply watched. Because the humans knew something the galaxy would soon learn. Being underestimated was humanity's greatest advantage. The massive object shifted course again. Slowly, intentional, unstoppable. Energy readings jumped, but there was no explosion. No attack, only power. Across distant systems, small fleets began to notice the anomaly. A few ships sent probes. They never returned. Signals vanished. Whispers grew. What are humans building? Are we sure they are still primitive? Some younger species wondered aloud if humanity had been hiding power all along. The council dismissed these concerns with laughter, until the first weapon system activated. A distant scout fleet attempted to approach. The world ship reacted, not aggressively, not destructively. It moved, with precision. A small wave of energy passed through space, and the fleet vanished silently, leaving no trace. The galaxy froze. No one had expected humans to have this capability. The laughter ended, and for the first time, the galaxy began to watch humanity in silence. Because humans were no longer just a story. They were a warning, and the silence before discovery was about to end. The galaxy had laughed. It had mocked humanity. It had ignored warnings and scoffed at reports. Now, it was about to witness the impossible. The massive object, quietly drifting for centuries, began to move with purpose. Sensors across human space recorded shifts in energy fields, magnetic pulses, and subtle gravitational waves. Nothing like this had been seen before. At first, it was almost gentle. The edges of the world ship shimmered, as if awakening from a long sleep. Clouds of ionized particles danced around its surface. Aboard the observation station, scientists held their breath. This can't be real, whispered one. But it was. The surface of the world ship began to glow faintly. Lines of light traced intricate patterns, like circuits on a scale impossible to imagine. The entire structure seemed alive. And then it moved, slowly, but with terrifying precision. Stars around it bent slightly, distorted by the massive energy output. Nearby planets and moons were unaffected, yet the galaxy could feel the sheer force. The world ship exhaled power. It was not attacking. It was aware. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, the old human planners watched the data with calm eyes. Activation is successful, one of them said quietly. No celebrations. No alarms. Only preparation. Meanwhile, alien fleets scrambled in panic. Reports flooded the Grand Councils. The energy output equals a small star. The object has defensive shields unlike any known technology. Movement is deliberate, intelligent. Panic spread quietly at first, then louder as fleets attempted to respond. For centuries, humans had built this in secret. Planet-sized ships hidden in remote star systems. Each one a fortress, a bastion, a warning to the galaxy. Humanity would not vanish quietly. And now, the first of these ships was awake. Sensors detected internal mechanisms stirring. Massive turbines powered up. Energy conduits glowed bright white. The ship's systems, designed to survive extinction events, were fully operational. It had weapons, yes, but it had something more terrifying: autonomy. It could act without human input if the species itself were ever threatened. Galactic observers realized the error too late. Humanity had been underestimated. One admiral spoke in disbelief. They are ready. All of them. No one knew the answer. But across deep space, faint signals began repeating. Not one ship, but dozens more were stirring in silence. Back on Earth, the humans monitoring the awakening made a final note. "It has begun," the lead observer said. And for the first time, the galaxy began to fear what it had ignored for so long. The first world ship was no longer a myth. It moved through the void with calm authority, its energy bending stars slightly in its path. And somewhere deep inside, the galaxy understood this was not humanity attacking. This was humanity protecting itself. In the dark, ancient alien fleets watched helplessly. No weapon could reach it. No strategy could touch it. The silence of humanity, once mistaken for weakness, was now a thunderous warning. The galaxy could only watch. For the first world ship had awakened, and with it, the era of underestimating humanity was over. The first world ship moved with calm authority. But it was not alone. Sensors across the galaxy began picking up more anomalies. Shapes in deep space, massive but hidden, slowly stirring after centuries of silence. Humans had planned this carefully. Each world ship lay in hiding, scattered across distant star systems, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Now, they were awakening. The second ship powered up. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal. Energy ripples spread across light years. Nearby star systems recorded fluctuations that no science could explain. Then a third, and a fourth. The galaxy went silent. Alien empires could not believe what they were seeing. "Dozens, no hundreds?" whispered a Zorti admiral. "They are everywhere." Each ship was different in design. Some angular, some spherical, some like towers of crystal energy. But all had the same purpose: survival and defense. Observers in the Galactic Council frantically scanned old archives. They discovered ancient records long forgotten. Species that had survived extinction built world ships. Most failed. Most never finished. Humans had succeeded. And humans had prepared for everything. On Earth, the hidden human command watched silently. They had always known the galaxy underestimated them. They had always known that patience was more powerful than war cries. A young analyst asked nervously, "Are we ready for the first attack?" The lead observer shook his head. "We do not attack. We protect. If the galaxy attacks us, then they will learn. But our purpose is survival, not conquest." The energy output of the awakened world ship shocked even the oldest species. Defensive systems rivaled stars. Shields bent space itself. Weapons were ready to annihilate threats, though humanity did not intend to fire them. In distant empires, panic spread. Meetings turned into chaos. Fleets were scrambled. The councils whispered of treaties and negotiations that might never happen. But the humans remained silent. The galaxy's assumption had been simple. Humans were weak. They underestimated patience, intelligence, and foresight. The first few alien fleets attempted reconnaissance. They never returned. Signals from their ships simply vanished into the void. A Zorati historian finally admitted what no one wanted to say. Humanity may have been hiding power we could never imagine. Across the galaxy, a new fear emerged. Not hatred, not anger, fear. And slowly, a respect grew among smaller species. Humans were no longer the primitive race they had believed them to be. The awakening of just a few world ships proved one thing. Humanity was never alone in its vision. Humanity was never unprepared. And the galaxy would soon learn that underestimating humans was a mistake it could never undo. The final signal from the first awakened world ship pulsed across the void. Not a threat, not a warning. A simple declaration of existence. We are here. We have survived. And we will endure. The galaxy, for the first time, held its breath. The galaxy had underestimated humanity. It had laughed, mocked, and ignored the warnings. Now that mistake would cost dearly. A massive alien empire, the Zorati Dominion, decided to act. They believed humans were still weak, small, divided, predictable. A fleet of over 5,000 warships advanced toward the nearest world ship. Weapons powered up. Energy beams glowed, ready to strike. Commanders expected a swift victory. They were wrong. The world ship sensed them, but it did not fire. It did not move aggressively. It simply activated its defenses, and the galaxy watched in horror. A wave of energy pulsed outward. It was not an explosion. Not yet. It was a field that bent reality. Light twisted. Matter wavered. The alien fleet's weapons jammed. Systems failed. Ships spun helplessly in space. Minutes passed. Then seconds. Then nothing. When the energy dissipated, the fleet was gone. Not a single ship remained. No debris. No explosions. Nothing. The galaxy fell silent. Reports from other observers poured in. Entire battle formations vanished. Communication systems blocked. Energy readings exceeded those of a small star. Across the Grand Council, leaders stared at one another. They had always assumed humanity was weak. They had been wrong. Terribly wrong. For the first time, humans spoke, but not to threaten, not to demand surrender. They sent a simple message across the galaxy. We did not want war, but we will defend ourselves. The simplicity of the words belied the immense power behind them. In secret human stations, observers watched the aftermath. They made no celebration. No weapons were fired. Only data. Only readiness. For centuries, humanity had planned for this moment. For centuries, the galaxy had assumed humans were insignificant. And now, the first lesson had been delivered. Across space, smaller species whispered each other. They are more than we imagined. They are gods compared to us. The Zorati Dominion tried to regroup. They sent diplomats, pleading for negotiations. But humanity did not negotiate. They only waited, because humans had learned patience. They had learned strategy, and they had learned that the galaxy must respect survival above all else. The first world ship, massive and silent, drifted through space. Its power remained untapped. Its message was clear. Do not challenge humanity lightly. Do not underestimate the quiet ones. For the first time, the galaxy realized laughter had been a fatal mistake. Humanity had awakened, and now the galaxy could only watch. The galaxy was silent. Every major empire, every council, every observer waited. Humans had shown their power. They had destroyed a fleet without firing a single shot. And now they spoke. A simple broadcast appeared across every star system. Not a threat, not a declaration of war. Just words. We are not here to conquer. We are here to survive. The words echoed across space. Simple, but heavy with meaning. Ancient empires listened. Older than the stars themselves, they had never felt such calm authority. Humans continued. For centuries we have watched, learned, and prepared. Our species has survived famine, disease, war, and extinction. We will continue to survive. But we do not seek to dominate the galaxy. We seek only to endure. Many alien species trembled, not with fear alone, but with respect. The Zorati Dominion, their pride shattered, tried to respond. You cannot threaten us with this, their leaders whispered. But humanity did not threaten. They explained, we built the world ships not for war, but for protection. Should our species face extinction, should any threat rise that could destroy us, these ships ensure humanity endures. We did not build them for you. We did not build them to attack. We built them to survive. Smaller species whispered among themselves. Humans, they are not like us. They do not fight for greed. They fight for survival and wisdom. And then the warning came. The galaxy will face threats that no empire can stop alone. We offer no dominance. We offer no alliance. We offer understanding. Humanity will endure. And if any species threatens that, they will face consequences beyond imagining. The words hung in space like a weight. In secret human stations, the planners watched calmly. Their world ships powered down slightly, not to hide, but to show restraint. Their purpose was clear. Defense, not conquest. Protection, not fear. For the first time, the galaxy realized that humanity's strength was more than ships, more than weapons. It was patience, strategy, vision, and a moral clarity that no empire could fake. Across the stars, ancient powers shivered. They had faced annihilation before. They had seen empires crumble. But they had never faced a species that prepared for everything yet sought only peace. The galaxy learned its lesson. Underestimate humans at your own peril. And far beyond the reaches of observation, hidden in distant star systems, more world ships stirred quietly. Humanity's warning had only just begun. The galaxy trembled. An ancient threat had awakened. It was older than empires, older than stars themselves. Legends whispered its name across the void, but few had ever seen it, and lived. It moved like a storm through space, consuming entire systems. Alien fleets were powerless. Entire civilizations vanished in moments. The councils panicked. Fleets were sent. Entire armadas, prepared for centuries, were destroyed instantly. Humanity watched quietly. From Earth to the hidden stations, planners monitored every movement. The world ships, scattered across the galaxy, began to stir. Energy flowed along circuits carved into their planetary hulls. They were ready. The first world ship activated fully, bending space around it. Stars seemed to flare in response. Its power was incomprehensible, yet controlled. Then the rest followed. Dozens, hundreds. Every hidden ship awoke with precision. The galaxy gasped. The ancient threat paused, sensing this new power. The world ships formed a pattern, a formation protection, not aggression. Yet their presence alone bent reality. The ancient threat recoiled. No fleet dared approach. No empire dared intervene. The threat lashed out, but every strike was absorbed. Every attack was countered, not with destruction, but with containment. Matter twisted. Energy fields neutralized the danger. The universe itself seemed to bend to the will of the human's creation. From deep space, an alien historian whispered, they are not just strong. They are gods in disguise. Humanity did not seek to dominate. They only acted to protect life, including alien life. The ancient threat, the terror of the galaxy, vanished without a trace. Afterward, silence returned. The galaxy, in awe, stared at humanity's world ships. It had learned a profound truth. Humans were patient. Humans were clever. Humans were prepared for everything. And when the greatest threat of all came, humanity stood alone and succeeded where others had failed. For the first time in history, the galaxy truly understood. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Even gods feared them. And yet, humanity did not claim victory for itself. The world ships, after demonstrating their power, retreated to the shadows of space. Their presence remained silent but undeniable. The galaxy now knew its place. Humans were not conquerors. They were guardians. Silent, patient, unstoppable. And the message was clear. The galaxy will never doubt humanity again. The galaxy had changed forever. Humans had shown their strength. They had destroyed fleets, neutralized threats older than stars, and survived when all others had failed. Yet, they did not claim power. They did not demand rule. The world ships returned to the depths of space, drifting silently, hidden from view but ready to awaken if needed. Their mere presence was enough to keep the galaxy in awe. Across countless star systems, species whispered stories of humanity. No longer the primitive, divided race. Humans were now guardians. Silent, patient, unstoppable. The councils gathered, realizing a hard truth. Humanity had never sought dominance, only survival. And in doing so, they had protected not just themselves, but the galaxy itself. On Earth, the hidden planners watched quietly. They did not celebrate. They did not boast. Their work was done, for now. The galaxy was safe, not because of treaties or fleets, but because humans had prepared beyond imagination. A young observer asked, "Will they ever interfere again?" The lead planner smiled faintly. "Only if the galaxy is in danger. Humans do not fight for glory. They fight for survival and protection." In the depths of space, the world ships rested, silent sentinels, watching over a galaxy that had once doubted them. Every species now knew the same truth. The galaxy did not fear humanity anymore. It trusted them. And somewhere across the stars, a faint pulse echoed. Not a weapon, not a threat, a reminder, a promise. We are here. We endure. We protect. The galaxy, for the first time in its long history, looked at humanity with respect, with gratitude, with awe. Humanity had not conquered. It had not ruled. It had survived. And in doing so, it had become the silent guardians of the galaxy. The stars continued to shine. Planets continued to turn. And humans, quiet and patient, drifted among them, watching, waiting, ready. For the galaxy knew now, should darkness rise again, humanity would be there. Silent, calm, unstoppable. The legend of humanity had begun.